Hello, and thanks for joining us on Encore. I'm Mariam Saab in Paris, coming up on The Music Show. Bush are back with Black and White Rainbows. The British rockers are dropping their 7th record just ahead of a US summer tour. After a 4-year silence that's left the Shins fans itching for more music, the American indie rockers are delivering with their album Heartworms. A band of brothers making heavy music with a light touch. We chat with the frontman of Chicago rock group Chevelle. Setting the stage for a 90s screamer music comeback, Chevelle is still bringing down the house more than a decade after they first burst onto the scene with their platinum-selling record Wonder What's Next. The American rock band are on a world tour to support the North Corridor. They say 8 albums in, their music is darker than ever before. I caught up with Pete Loeffler during a Paris stopover. The band's lead singer and guitarist was surprisingly light-hearted given his hardcore alter ego on stage. Take a look. We're here with frontman and guitarist Pete from Chevelle. Welcome to Paris.
Thank you.
Now, before we get started, let's take our viewers back to some of your biggest hits. You've been around for more than 2 decades. What do you think your staying power is?
I don't know, it feels like we've never swayed too far from our original sound. It's always had like sort of a melodic tone to it and then also a release. Hopefully that's it. I mean, it's just the fact that we're still putting out good music after 8 albums. I mean, and when I say that, it's daunting. Every time I finish an album, I say, how did we get that done?
Some learn, many do, cover up or spread it out.
Over the years, what's been the most important lesson that you've learned?
Probably to keep my mouth shut on the tour bus.
Does that get you into trouble?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Your music keeps the spirit of 90s rock alive today. Do you ever feel a sense of 90s nostalgia? What do you miss about it?
Sometimes I do pine for that sort of like nostalgic vibe of when you would, you know, buy a CD or you go to buy a ticket to a show and you'd have to stand in line. You know, our favorite bands were, well, we started with punk music like Fire Hose and Black Flag and things like that. It was sort of underground, but then they got big. And then once we heard bands like Mudhoney coming out of Seattle and Soundgarden and some other big bands, Alice in Chains, we started transitioning to those sort of, you know, styles. I mean, I was like, you know, in my teens.
Much like suffocating. Much like suffocating.
Your 8th studio record, The North Corridor, has been described as dark, aggressive, controlled chaos. What are you raging against?
You know, it's funny. I think probably monotony and getting older. And I've actually had people say that, so why, you're still writing angsty music? And I was like, well, you know, I mean, it's my journey. I mean, it's not that I'm not happy inside, but if I didn't get it out through music, then I don't know what I would do.
Your name is
as we toured more and more, I realized, you know, to relax. And now I write about, you know, things that I'm into that are less heavy. You know, they're like, the music's heavy, but, you know, I'll write about horror films, or I'll write about, I'll pick a random topic. You know, the song Face to the Floor is about Bernie Madoff, about, I saw a program on the guy and I was blown away at his, you know, the evil there.
Let's talk about the music side of things. You write the music, it starts at home, and even before then, sometimes you're inspired when you're on tour, and if you are, you've got a little neat trick. You record guitar riffs into your phone. Can you tell us about that?
So, finishing the last album, there's a song called Last Days, and it was a difficult one. It was the hardest one. It was vocally, I didn't know which way I wanted to take it. Oh, I mean, like literally, I'm looking on here and I recorded everything in my home studio, and then I plugged it into my phone and I emailed it to our producer, who is an amazing guy. And I actually have like the main vocal from Last Days on here.
Well, it's my last night. Darwinian nation rules.
So that's just a little bit of.
That was recorded. Where were you when you recorded that?
I was at home in Chicagoland in my home studio, and that's just like a little, like that's literally the vocal that went on the album.
Looking ahead, you've already revealed that the next Chevelle album is going to be even more sinister, darker, more metal than this one. Can you let us in on any more secrets?
I'm gonna have to dig deep on this one, aren't I? Now that I've thrown that out there. It starts with the guitar riff, you know, it really does. I'm probably gonna just continue on down the road, which is, you know, listening to a lot of Danzig right before I start writing.
Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say, mother.
You know, we're I guess, a strange band in a way, where we can tour with, you know, lighter bands like Bush, you know, who we're fans of early on, or we're a band that can tour with heavier bands. So, you know, but I definitely think that over this 15, 20 years, it's been morphing, and I think that's a good thing.
We look forward to continue to watch Chevelle grow into the future. You have a very bright one. Thank you very much for joining us, Pete. Any last words for our viewers on France 24?
Truly, we are excited to play Paris again. I will have to say that France is numero uno.
You can catch Chevelle live. They're back on the road after co-headlining a tour with Bush last summer. Speaking of the multi-platinum British rockers, Bush are shaking up the scene with their 7th outing, Black and White Rainbows. In support, the grunge rockers, fronted by Gavin Rossdale, will embark on a North American tour kicking off in Dallas this May. The album hits at the heart of a dystopian world, like the song People at War, that was recorded to raise awareness about the plight of refugees. But there are sunny moments too, like lead single Mad Love. Take a look. Rocking on, the Shins are coming out with the follow-up to 2012's Americana cut Port of Morrow. Their fifth studio album, Heartworms, is their first self-produced outing in over a decade. Frontman James Mercer really dug deep with an anthem for female empowerment inspired by his daughters and a cut that delves into the lead singer's battle with anxiety. The Skins are letting their skeletons out of the closet, quite literally, on the track Dead Alive. Almost 3 decades ago, French supergroup I Am started a new wave in rap music. They're back with their 8th album, Revolution. On it, they're breaking down social classes and the media. More milestones, I Am have hit the 20th anniversary of their diamond-selling record, L'École du Micro d'Argent. To celebrate the classic, they're embarking on a tour across France, stopping here at France 24 on Tuesday the 21st. Veteran rappers Akhenaten and Shuriken will be joining us on our French sister show À l'Affiche. Until then, we'll leave you with one from the album, Monnaie des Singes. That's a wrap from Encore. Remember our website, connect with us on social media, and stay with us. There's more news coming up. See you next week.
Ton fils aime nos sons de macaque. Ta fille aime nos sons de macaque. Leurs potes aiment nos sons de macaque. Alors mange-toi du gros son de macaque.
Ouais, c'est moi le macaque, le hip-hop est malien. Ouais, c'est moi le macaque, le hip-hop est malien. Ouais, c'est moi le macaque, le hip-hop est malien. Ouais, c'est moi le macaque, le hip-hop est malien.